Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second episode of the Adventure Mystery College campaign. So, this is a journaling RPG. If you guys have not seen episode 1, where we did a bit of world building and started the first journal entry, which, oh boy, that was something else. This is episode 2 of the campaign. If you guys didn't see episode 1, then, this is serialized, but last episode, we'll be getting a recap before we really start on it, just so that way we're all on the same page as to what happened in episode 1. So, spades, clubs, hearts, diamonds. There we go. Sorry, guys. It takes me a second to quickly get set up, get everything where I need it. So, let's recap first on what happened in episode 1 of the Adventure Mystery College campaign. So, we established 3 characters, a location of sorts, the time of the year, and finally started on the first day. At the moment, what we have to go off of from last episode is that I drew cards pertaining with a performance, a hidden door, and an artist. So we've got to incorporate these things. So, let's begin. Now, I've thought long and hard about what I'm going to do for the performance and the hidden door, and, of course, the artist. And I've decided that this is what goes down. That is the first of many of these text entries done. So, at this point, we've been writing for about 20 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and finally read the first journal entry in its entirety. Just let me make sure the freaking page doesn't die on me. March 20th, 20XX, Saturday. I rolled out of bed today, took a quick shower, and brushed my teeth. Door lays empty today. I felt like the best place for me was somewhere I could go to think. The river feels like a safe bet for the moment. I grab my jacket and walk into the sun. Checking my phone, I realize it is closing on 3 p.m. I can't believe I let myself sleep that long this weekend. Approaching the river, it occurred to me that this was the local Battle of the Bands competition. As I enter a sea of people and small booths containing amusement and food, a building catches my eye. It says open, but appears to not have entrance. Though it did intrigue me, I couldn't see a way in. The only thing I saw was a note on the side saying out to face paint. I quietly lean on the wall, only to have it push in. As the door slammed me in, I heard a voice saying I didn't belong there. I looked and spotted an older gentleman in front of the canvas. Sorry, young'un, he says quietly. Come back tomorrow, and I'll read your fortune. Weird, but I decided to head home and consider coming back for my fortune the next day. Okay, so here is where things are going to get a little interesting. Now, I am using the adventure system. If you guys did not catch yesterday's episode, then once again, if you guys want to play this game, it is available for purchase at this link right here that I just posted in the chat, and will be putting in any subsequent recaps and whatnot. However, I've decided to add a couple supplemental things, which starts here. We've got a d20, which is not part of the game normally, but I figure a random chance type element like this is always welcome in an RPG. And now, I'm going to freeform this next journal entry because I just so happen to have none other than affirmation cards in the Cthulhu's vault. So, here we go. Here is what I'm going to do. Is we're going to go back and get our fortune read. Here it is. Okay. So, I am not... By the way, before we continue with this scene, remember that this is a fictional game. If anyone believes in the entire concept of the dark arts, remember, to me, it is very much not a real thing. That being said, the old man had decided that I, Jack Bennet, needed to start with an affirmation. That way, that on March 21st, I would have something to start thinking about. So, quietly, he pulls out an affirmation deck. And he shuffles it very, very quietly. At this point, I do not believe in any of this silliness, but my curiosity had got the best of me. So, what he had done is he flipped the first affirmation card. And it goes as follows. Forgiveness. Congratulations. You're being given one of the most powerful superpowers there is. Forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive, forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself. 2. Have fun wielding your new power, but remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. Quietly, I look at the fortune teller, and at this moment I realize that I do need to forgive more people. Quietly, I think that this has opened my mind to reflection. I don't think there's anything magical about it, but, however, it's kind of gave me something to think about. But then, things got a little weird. Quietly, the man smiles at me, thanking me for coming back like I had been asked, and thanking me that I had the patience to come back yet the next day. He asks me, have you ever had a reading? I say no. Then he says, in that case, we're going to give you what I call a base reading. He then cuts his deck down from the many cards it had 4 to what I only recognize from the movie as the major arcana. So, he quietly starts shuffling, mixing, and moving the cards in a strange pattern I had not seen any kind of shuffling method. Seems as if the concept was not just to shuffle them, but to almost move their directions differently. Now, he says. He pulls 3 cards off the top. Now, starting from the way you're facing, analyze the cards, he says. The one on your left side will be your past. The middle will be your present. And the right will be your future. Let's begin by figuring out your past. He flips the card to reveal the Empress, but I'm confused. This card is upside down. He says, "Oh, the Empress. According to the lore, the reverse Empress inscribes light, truth, and public rejoice. You must have been a quiet yet powerful leader of the public in the past. But certain things are starting to get in your way." I swallow a little hard. I had tried to become a communication major before I switched to what I was doing due to the fact that I was just too scared. Very strange. Very strange indeed. So then the man looks at me again. He quietly gestures for me to flip the second card over. I do, and it reveals Arcana 1, Magician. Now this one considers the fact that, okay, let's back up because this thing is starting to freak me out a little bit. The magician stands tall and in control. He is surrounded by the green abyss of the sea, commanding Cthulhu as his tentacles move behind him. The magician embodies the conscious mind. This card is a creator and reminds you that everything you need to know is right in front of you. All you have to do is reach out and grab it. Just like a magician, you embody the elements: fire, earth, air, and water. When you are able to use these elements with your own spiritual being, nothing will stop you from creating your dreams. It is time to move forward, recognize your potential, and bring your intentions to fruition. Currently, the old man says, the magician inside you needs to actually come out. I quiet myself for a moment, thinking. This one seems a little bit vague, but, however, I realize that he's talking about college itself. I need to try to double down really hard on my studies and try to make myself much better at what I'm doing. Finally, he worriedly looks at the third card. He says that it seems like my path is going down not a quite dangerous path, but rather one of self-fulfillment and a need to improve. He says it's destructive behavior, but this final card will reveal just exactly what it will give me. He gestures one last time, and I flip the card to reveal the reversed hangman. XII, the hangman. Sure enough, whenever he explains the effect of the reverse hangman, it implies selfishness in the crowd of people, and sadly, politics. It appears that he believes that the past will be holding sway over my future, and that I will become more power hungry than before. He pulls away two of the cards, fidgets with the reverse hand. My young boy, he says, you need to be careful. He pushes the hanged man. Picking it up, I inspect it. A dual face looks back at me, quietly reminding me of my fate. I sit there for a very long minute, breathing hard, and realize that he's right. I do need to be careful. I had lived my life selfish. I didn't sigh one last time, thank him, pay him the money I owe him. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this episode's contents. Now, as usual, we're going to go ahead and read today's entry very carefully, and we're going to kind of decompress a second, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the game so far. So, March 21st, 20XX. I got out of bed a lot earlier today, hoping to catch the fortune teller when he was open. I was in luck, and I have decided to write his words in my fortune down for future reference. Here it is. Affirmation card, forgiveness. This one kind of just reminded me that I need to forgive people. My cards were the reverse empress, number 3. He guessed correctly that I had been attempting to become a public speaker before switching majors. My present card was 1, the magician. He seems to be referring to my current college goals and seems to imply I need to apply myself more. Most worrying was my future card, the reverse hanged man. My mind is now racing as this card is the future. It clearly shows me a path of selfish tendencies. I've lived most of my days for myself, but I better keep that in check. As I reflect and write these, I still don't believe in fortune-telling, but an acidy feeling in my gut tells me I could be wrong. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie. This has been a epic game episode here. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to continue throwing in kind of curveball stuff to the series like this every once in a while, where different game mechanics that don't really belong in the adventure come in, as this was such a cool way to tell the story. Now, I hope that you guys have got a little bit more of Jack Bennet as a character. Because here's the thing. Jack Bennet is my character, but I'm kind of letting the fates decide. I'm letting the random chance of the game itself decide him for me. So now we know a few extra details about him. If you guys want to see more of this series, just remember that it will be streaming a couple, 3 times a week. This has just been a fun campaign so far. I love this game. Again, The Adventurer. jameschip.itch.io/the:'adventure, or just follow the link in the chat/description. Thank you so much. My name has been John, and I've played myself once again. Thank you.